Oh, yeah. Welcome to Drinks with Ron. I'm Ron, and I don't have a drink. I need to rectify that, and I'm going to do that right now. A little Pseudo Sue Pale Ale from Toppling Goliath. That's in Decorah, Iowa. I oftentimes refer to it as dinosaur beer because, see, there's a dinosaur. See where I'm going with that? I'm hilarious. I'm a treat to be around, goddammit. I was hoping to get these guys up here for Brews and Blues 23. I had made direct contact with the brewery and was talking about getting them up here to serve their own and bring all sorts of shit. But there shan't be. Oh, don't you do it, boy! Don't you do it! Oh, goddamn son of a bitch! 16-ounce can, man. You gotta be careful. You get this, that's a fail right there. It is a beer fail. Yeah, so there's not going to be a Brews and Blues, so Toppling Goliath won't be coming up here. I won't get to hobnob with the brewers and learn all their things. But, as I would say, what am I going to do about it? I guess as I would say on my podcast, I'm going to do drugs about it. And then I would make a sound of me doing drugs, and it would sound like... I'm like an amateur Foley artist for my pod. Let me wind that back. I have a podcast, mentioned it on here before. The name of the main feed is the Half-Assed Podcast Network, but I do multiple shows on that. I've got a Dynasty football show with my friend Jonah, my buddy Derek. We do a general random pod, and we've got the Outsiders Social Club podcast, which is the newest incarnation. It's an unwieldy behemoth, is what it is. There is 7 crew members spread all throughout the country. All 4 continental U.S. time zones are covered. Everybody's in like the varying stages of life. We got people with kids graduated, people with kids graduating, people with little tiny kids, people who don't have any kids at all, people got stepkids. It's a whole, it runs the gambit. Starting to develop my role, I guess, for a lack of a better term. I've got the new sound effects board. I was going to hook it up for this episode and play around with it, but it sounded like so much work. So much work. I'm actually taking a break from editing said podcast to have a beer, and then I'm going to get back to it before I go night, because I'm going to be doing that. Yeah, we did, it's in March, since this thing goes up instantly, unlike my podcast, which is weeks out into the future. So when this goes up, it's still the very beginning of March. So the NCAA March Madness, the brackets, it's that time of year. So we decided to do our own. The first episode of the night was a bracket of TV neighbors. 32, we didn't go full 64. 32 TV neighbors from the 90s and before. We got a Canadian division, we got a cartoon division. It was a whole big ordeal. So, needless to say, by the time we got done with that, we were pretty well hammered. That took a couple of hours. Everybody was really hopped up this last recording session. It was like herding cats. It was, and I'm not saying I didn't have a hand in that, because I went right off the trail with everybody else. But yeah, so the point of that story is we're greased. I literally, by the end, I just like, no, we're done with this episode. We're going to the next one. Episode 2, we decided to do another bracket, but this was to settle the king of the mustache. So I thought I commissioned the Hashtronaut, Hashi Colin. His podcast is Nostalgia Pit. It's a good podcast. I enjoy listening to it. You got nostalgia, you can listen to it too. Especially if you're roughly our age, it's It's right in that good wheelhouse of nostalgia. But let me digress. I tasked him with coming up with 16 mustaches for this bracket, right? Just 16. We'll come into episode 2. So as we set it up, I throw it to Hashi, and he says, yeah, I'm gonna run down our list of 64 mustaches. And I said, wait, what? You mean 16? He said, no, I did 64. Like, oh man. I was very excited because 16, it seemed like kind of a waste. But 64, like, okay, now we could legitimately say whoever wins this has some stash credibility. So we started 64 mustaches after 2.5 hours of podcasting, which means 2.5 hours of drinking. Yeah, it went on into the night. I've got one episode finished that's over an hour, and that didn't even get us through all of our first 2 rounds of matchups. I'll tell you, my heavy favorites were Tom Selleck and Burt Reynolds. I will just say, without a spoiler, there's some upsets. So if you have any kind of interest in the mustache bracket, and I'm sure you do, check out the Outsiders Social Club. It should be episode 21 and 22, I believe, or 20 and 21. It's gonna take 2 episodes to get through that thing. Oh, it's a mess, but it was a hell of a good time. Wow, I love this podcast. See, like this, I've been doing this for years. Oh, that was very abrupt, Ringo. I was not prepared for that. But I've been doing this for years. You know, it's me and you. I got me and the camera, and the camera is you. So when I talk to the camera, I'm talking to you. Because we're having a drink here. That's the whole point of this. This goes back to when I really did this for like 4 of my friends, because I never got out of the house anymore because I had a little tiny kid. So I was like, hey guys, I got this new beer, this new whiskey, and check this out, and this is cool, and hey, here's what I was listening. It was just supposed to be me saying, hey, let's have a virtual beer. Now it's progressed into this. And as you can tell, I'm quite comfortable taking up all the air in the room and all the space, all the lanes, they're all mine. I can handle that. It's not a problem. But to have people to bounce shit off of, and I've got a high bar for comedy. I grew up the 80s, early 90s. There was a big stand-up comedy scene. You could watch stand-up all Saturday night just by flipping through channels. So I got to see so many guys and ladies work, and you got to see their shtick. And yeah, basically, I seen it all. I watched it all. I don't just laugh at whatever. These people are legit funny, man. We got some funny motherfuckers on this podcast, and insightful. It's a delight. Just as this beer, you can see there, this light is shit, but that's hazy. That looks like a grapefruit juice. It is super hoppy, but not super bitter. They also make like 16 variations of this shit. So there's like double hopped. They've got an imperial. An imperial means they'd be the double, like the malt or the hops. They use different hops. There's a straight Citra version that's out there. They're a really fun brewery. My buddy said he said if you went down there, you could walk right by it. It looks like a garage, a metal door you lift up. But fantastic brewery. Oh man, this is a heavy beer though, and I rambled, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish this off. I'm gonna have to pay the wrath of Todd Fine. You're gonna have to spot me one, Todd. I'll have to come back with cash. You'll have to trust that I do it, because, you're never gonna know. I just take it back out of there if I wanted to, I don't. This currently $2 in there. That actually makes me feel bad. Should be $0 in there. So I should be finishing these drinks, but we see how this happens. I get talking, I run off at the mouth, and it's yabba, yabba, yabba. Then here we go. Half a beer. Way to go, Dick. But since I am going to eat this fine, and Ringo is playing me off, we'll shut this one down. So for Drinks with Ron, I'm Ron, signing off.